All right, welcome everyone to Nerd of the Rings. We've got a fun, chill stream in store today. I'm going to be taking my first crack at Middle Earth strategy battle game. Second crack at painting, technically, because I did do okay. So when I was at Warhammer, I did do this little Gondorian soldier, which turned out pretty good. Not bad for a first attempt. There he is, little Gondorian. But today we've got Rohirrim that I'm going to be painting. So, yeah, thought we've had a big week in Tolkien fandom. So why not do a chill stream? I was planning on doing this anyway, even though at the time when I planned it, it wasn't a big week in the Tolkien fandom. But here we are anyway. So I just got sorry, it took me a minute to get fired up there. Got some background music courtesy of Jordan from Long Expected Soundscape. So we'll let that play. Let me know once this gets going if we need to bring it up or turn it down, whatever. See if I can not screw this up too much. So, like I said, I'm brand new to this hobby. So, yeah, if I'm not very good at it, I apologize in advance. But that's the beauty of it, right? Everybody starts somewhere. So this is for those of you following along. I'll let you know what colors I'm using as I use them. This is Dark Angels Green. We're going to use that as the cloak color for our Rohirrim. We'll use it on the shield as well. I just primed these this morning. My first time priming by spray paint. So hopefully I didn't jack it up too much. Should open my mod chat so they can yell at me if I start obscuring the lens. Am I winning? I hope so. I have to say, I was so zen when I was painting my little Gondorian at Warhammer World. It was so relaxing. I don't know if it'll be quite as relaxing while I'm streaming and trying to talk to you guys, but I think it'll still be fun regardless, so we'll roll with it. Okay, the audio was bad for a minute, but now it's better? Okay. Master G asks, is this your full-time job? Yes, Nerd of the Rings is now my full-time job. It's been my full-time gig for about 2 years, I think, now. So, yeah. No, I am extremely fortunate that what was a side hobby, started out kind of just for fun, ended up becoming my full-time job. It's pretty darn fun. All right. Dead Headspace. Love your content. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. I have to say, Jordan did a good job on this music, man. I'm gonna have to listen to this even offline when I'm painting. Papa Stingray, I've created some of the orcs from Warhammer, and it gets super meditative. Yeah. I only painted one figure, and I was like Oh my gosh, this is the most relaxed I've been in months. You guys need more music? Need a little higher? Can do that. Let's try that. Oh, good question. Nicholas says, what's a typical day to day look like? It kind of varies week to week. So this past week has been insane because of first the Peter Jackson news. The Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, and Andy Serkis returning to Middle Earth. That was pretty darn massive. So there was that. So I had, the live stream for that, and then a shorter like news breakdown kind of thing. Is that trying to get this in focus for you guys? There we go. That looks a little better. Yeah, and then we had the Rings of Power teaser that came out on Tuesday. Like that was another big day. So the teaser that was kind of like how it was for me all season last year with the episodes. Like I would watch the episode, do the watch party, and then get to work on a breakdown and be working on that for hours. So like the teaser came out at like 9:30 in the morning, and I was working on that straight through up until I released it at like 3:00 in the afternoon, something like that. But yeah, aside from that, it's really cool because YouTube is, as you can imagine, a pretty flexible gig. But I get most of my work done when the kids are at school, which is great. And then not every day, but a lot of days I'm able to kind of turn that off after they get home from school and hang out with them and stuff, which is awesome. I'm very, very fortunate to have that situation. Man, I'm gonna try to not butcher this, guys. I hope you guys can see this. It's kind of tricky to play to the camera and also get to where I can see it. But yeah, other than that, like a regular week, I'd say it usually takes like anywhere from 10 to 20 hours, researching and scripting and stuff. Try to do some stuff on social media, on others than just YouTube. Let's see here. Sketched by Steve. How do we get Lord of the Rings art in your videos? Hey, I'd love to feature art. Yeah, I love finding new artists and everything. Yeah, if you want, you could just email me. If you go to the About section here on YouTube, my email's in there. And yeah, hit me up via email or on Instagram, whatever. Nate Dog, thanks so much for the super chat. Love your content. Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite fantasy series. I've probably read and watched the movies 100 times. Dang. I don't know if you're exaggerating. 100 times is a lot. It's a lot of times. Even to watch the movies, but like reading, maybe it's is it a combined number? Let's get this brush back under control. Also, shout out to let's see here, what's the name of the channel again? War Hipster is the channel that I was watching his videos on what colors to use on these Rohirrim, which is very helpful. It's pretty dark. Maybe I was supposed to water down this paint a little bit more than I did. Oh well. It's like Bob Ross. You don't make mistakes, It's just stuff happens. You just roll with it. All right. Oh, we've got more cloak up here too. Yeah, Christopher Lee did read it once a year. That's right. And I don't know if you guys saw, I did release a clip from that upcoming Christopher Lee documentary, which looks really cool. And we're gonna interview the director of that film next Tuesday. Ooh, favorite scene in all the Lord of the Rings movies. Man. Well, I've said it before on the channel here that I have a particular affinity for the Argonath scene, because that was kind of the moment that I knew I was totally hooked on the world and everything. Man, there's so many good ones. It's hard to beat the Rohirrim at Pelennor Fields. Sorry, I'm just taking a closer look at this. So part of the reason that I've not done this before is like I tend to be kind of a perfectionist when I work on stuff. Even if I'm not that great at it, I want to do a really good job. And so I haven't done this before because I'm like, I don't want to do a crappy job and then I'll be mad at myself. And so I just had to kind of embrace the fact like, hey, I'm not going to be good at it at first, and that's okay. You know, you just you get better with time. That's how things work. All right. Well, this guy's got his, well, I'm going to try to get in there a little better. Yeah. Yeah, that's the stuff. Okay. This guy's got his cloak done. Let's move on to another guy. There's some good variety in the figures, too. Like, not all the spearmen look alike. I'm looking at 3 different spearmen here. 4. And they all have different poses. That's pretty cool. All right. Dakota Garcia says, as a sideshow employee, that's the mindset to have. Well, there we go. Got some good validation there. Let's see here. I'm going to try to come up with a definitive answer to the favorite scene. It's tough. I don't know. That Pelennor Fields is pretty hard to beat. But then I also like the smaller moments, and it's not because, I don't know, there's something so like visceral and just hits you in the heart when Theoden says no parent should have to bury their child. And as someone who, my wife and I have had multiple miscarriages, there's like a part of me that just gets wrecked every time, you know, just wrecked emotionally every time that I see that scene. But they're masterpieces. What can you say? You can't go wrong. Pick a scene, any scene. Chances are it's fantastic. Sean Williams, are you picking up either of the Theoden releases this weekend from Games Workshop? I don't know. I do have I don't know if you can see. Oh, that's the Osgiliath one. I do have the Pelennor Fields. I got ages ago. The Pelennor Fields box set. So I have a Theoden. I'd be curious. Let me know in the chat, like, what is there, you know, something special about the new ones? I know they're like old models and stuff, but I don't know. I probably won't double dip on figures, at least not for a while. I won't put it past myself to double dip at some point, especially on a character I really like Theoden. Let's see here. Are you gonna go to New Zealand and try to sneak into the Hunt for Gollum movie and get some orc makeup on? I don't know if you can sneak in and get orc makeup on. Like, I think that's a little bit longer of a process to be able to sneak onto. Like, do you think you could sneak into the makeup chair and just nobody realize that you've not actually been cast as one of the orc extras? You're just a guy who showed up. I think they would discover you. That's just my thought. Take your lesson from Andor. Just walk in like you own the place. Yeah, but I don't think the people on the film set are like the Empire, where they're complacent and drunk off their own power kind of thing. Yeah, sneak in and get makeup put on for 8 hours without anybody noticing you're not supposed to be there. I do think it would be really fun to be made up as an orc. So, a heads up. I don't think I posted this on Instagram when I was down there, but coming soon on my channel, I did get some dwarf prosthetics on while I was down there, and it was awesome. It was flipping amazing. I do think it would be kind of fun to be made up in like a full orc, to the point where you look in the mirror and you can't even recognize yourself. Best delivery of an orc line? Oh gosh. What kind of orc do you want? Do you want like a sniveling orc like this? Who's a little trash bag of a creature? Or do you want a big burly orc like this? Take your pick. So there you go. There's 2 options at least. Oh, yeah. Oh, if they did a Universal theme park, they should totally do makeup and cosmetics. I don't know about an 8-hour process. Like, I mean, I would do it, but I don't think most people would pay for admission to a theme park for a day and then proceed to sit in a makeup chair for 8 hours and be like, yeah, that was a good use of my park day. Like I said, I would. And I'd be perfectly happy with that. You'd finish getting made up just in time to walk around at night. Yeah, it is what it is. The orcs have become like that Cockney accent. Like it's just kind of happened. man, this is going to be tough. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this in frame. All right, so for the folks in the chat who do paint Warhammer or Middle-earth strategy battle game, what is your army of choice? Gondor, nice. Last Alliance, Dark Angels. So I may or may not have, after visiting Warhammer World, because I wasn't really familiar with Warhammer itself. I was familiar with Middle-earth strategy battle game a little bit, but I wasn't familiar with Warhammer so much before going there. And then going there, seeing like all the displays and everything, it's pretty flippin' cool. Not gonna lie. I may or may not have gone on a binge of Warhammer lore videos. And I was like, oh, this is how people discover my channel. That's what this is like. All of them. Farharad with the half-trolls. Yeah. I'm very intrigued by the Easterlings. And the, is it a Dragon Emperor that they have? Oh, gosh. I'm really nervous going between these horses. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. This is not the easiest thing to do, I gotta say. Rumpelstiltskin. Who is your fantasy wish to interview from Lord of the Rings? I think I've always thought it'd be really fun to interview Peter Jackson. I'd say presently that would be my number one if someone said, all right, tomorrow you're interviewing whoever you want, take your pick. I would pick Sir Peter. And I mean, that's just number one on a list. Like there's a lot of people that I would answer. Vigo would be really cool. I did get the chance to talk to Sir Ian a little bit while I was in London when I went over to Warhammer, which was amazing. Delightful guy. Oh, the Lego Barad-dûr. Yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah, I'll probably... Yeah, I'll have to see, you know, when it comes out and everything. Ah, crap. Just got green all over my horse. Okay. We'll fix that later. We'll take it easy on ourselves, right? We're just starting out. Did you get Andy? Oh, Andy Serkis? No, I haven't talked to Andy on the channel yet. That would be another one that would be really fun. There's a lot of people that'd be really fun. Let's be honest. Okay, good. You guys are... Shadow of Phoenix Maximus is comforting me that you get paint on everything. So, yeah. See, this is what I do, though. I, like, get mad at myself because I messed up. Oh, I didn't know that was just the German spelling of Rumpelstiltskin. That's cool. Oh, yeah, Legolas and Gimli getting brickheads. Yeah, I saw that. Yep. I've never been as big of a fan on the brickheads. I'm all about the iconic locations, for sure. Gosh, that is a messy shield. That's okay. We'll tidy it up later. All right. I'll do one more where we put the green on, and then I want to make sure we have some other colors going on. We'll do this shield guy. Or this spear guy, I should say. There we go. Oh, sorry. JD Machado. Yes. At some point this year, I'll definitely have some giveaways. If anyone will be at San Diego Comic-Con, I actually have a stack of things just over off camera here that I'm going to be giving away at Comic-Con. So I'll be sure to post that on social media and everything, where I'll be and all that good stuff, to do some giveaways. I think I'll do some like trivia contest kind of stuff. Huddle up with the group of people, shout out a trivia question, and whoever answers first wins a prize, that kind of thing. Jean Bata. For the Lion of Caliban, loyalty is its own reward. Is that a Warhammer thing? Because I'm not that engrossed that I can recognize quotes and stuff. Biggest tip I got is to remember to the paint is tactile. You can use another brush to remove it, and you can always paint over mistakes. Oh! Yes. Only happy accidents. I do have... Oh, God. I don't... Yeah. Adam, I don't know if I'll get to their eyes today. I don't think I will. But yeah, I can only imagine how rough that will be for me. Oh, that's too thin. Whoops. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's why I was thinking that my brush was seeming a bit dry. I think this is better. See, we're learning in real time. I think that's going on much better. Oh, yeah. See? That's a better color, too. I think. Thank you for that, Dimitri. Ruban, excited to see Tom Bombadil as Morgoth and Goldberry is Ungoliant in Rings of Power. I'm starting to think that's total BS, that rumor. I sure hope it is. I said that before when that rumor was out. I think that's probably bogus. I can't imagine that that's actually what they're doing. Speaking of which, let me know in the chat. I know we've, I had the breakdown and everything, so people have been commenting and stuff. What do you guys think of the teaser for season 2? I thought it was pretty good, actually. Like I said in my breakdown, if a teaser's job is to increase your hype level, I think that was a good teaser for it. Showed some Anatar. Something that I was like really bummed that we didn't get in season 1. Obviously, I've talked about that ad nauseum. More hopeful season 1. Puts on a wig, yeah. I've got to think that it'll be a situation where Sauron comes to Celebrimbor and is like, hey, yeah, I'm not really Halbrand. I'm actually an emissary from, I'm not this human dude, not Halbrand. I'm actually an emissary from the Valar. And convinces him that way. It's really dicey though, because like Galadriel knows who he is. So like, does she not tell Celebrimbor? So I'm curious how they're gonna work that out. Yeah, it's like like Clark Kent. Yeah, Barrow-wights, right? That was kind of a surprise. Oh, frick. It's okay. Gotta channel my inner Bob Ross and not get worked up about mistakes. Because that's not my style. I get mad at myself if I make mistakes, so... All right. Milos, that's an interesting question. So how many seasons do you think the show will go for? I do think that like this season is a really important one for the show, because like if if it isn't well viewed, it doesn't bode well for future seasons, right? I mean, that's true of any show. I also think like Amazon's in a unique position where, as far as the streaming industry goes, yeah, Amazon already said they're doing 5 seasons of it. I mean, that doesn't mean they couldn't, shows get canceled after allegedly being renewed all the time. So, well, not all the time, but it does happen. Original plans, or they shorten shows. Like, I don't think The Witcher, they planned, when they were planning that, they probably didn't plan for that to end after, was it season 5, they said? Something like that. Amazon's in a unique business position, though, because, I mean, they're, unlike, say, Netflix, streaming isn't their main business. Like, Prime Video is like a bonus add-on thing that people get because they buy 2-day shipping, right? Like, so I don't think, monetarily it like lives and dies by the by their streaming shows. So arguably they could afford to go ahead, forge forward, even if it didn't do well. But I do think perception-wise, I think this season is probably going to be really important for them. Have you ever listened to Blind Guardian? I haven't. I get asked that all the time. I need to make a conscious effort to pull up their Middle Earth album and listen to it. Check it out. I'm more of a classic rock guy typically. Led Zeppelin is one of my jams. That's one of my favorite bands of all time. And obviously they had some Middle Earth influence. And Battle of Evermore is one of my favorite songs. I love that song because it's Tolkien influenced so heavily. It's going to be wild having New Line and Amazon releasing at the same time. And we get to revel in the carnage of their competition. Yeah, I've kind of wondered that, like, and I've posed this to some people who are more casual, because my initial reaction to it was like, oh, this is going to be great having two studios competing, because, you know, you got to bring your A game if someone else is going to be out there making better projects than you. They'll get all the attention, right? But some folks have kind of brought up the point to me, like, yeah, but for casual watchers of Lord of the Rings, it can be confusing to where they, you know, people don't distinguish between the two studios kind of thing. And I could see that as well. You know, like, will your mom or your grandma know the difference between an Amazon project and a New Line project? I mean, I know my grandma won't. She doesn't even understand what I do for a living. I have to explain it to her every time I see her. I try to explain it. She just does not understand how me talking about these silly books all day is my profession. Like, it's fine, Grandma. Don't worry about it. It's fine. All right. Oh dear. Do I get paid to support Rings of Power? Honestly, guys. I'll answer it. It's a stupid question, but I'll answer it. No, I don't get paid to, quote, support any adaptations. I talk about adaptations because this is a Lord of the Rings channel. This is a Tolkien channel. So when there's news and when there's adaptations being made, I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to give you my opinions on them. I'm going to cover them, talk about the lore behind them, you know, or in some cases, the lack of lore behind them, whatever it is. But, like, honestly, guys, there's no shortage of places where you can find people raging about any number of things. In case you can't tell, if you haven't figured it out by now, it's not my style. It's not going to be my style, so. It's not to say that, like, I love everything they did. I mean, watch my review video, guys. There's plenty of things I'm not crazy about. That's too thick. Ah. All right. think I might have to get tinier brushes out for some of this. Or just get better. That might be a decent solution as well. I'm going to try a smaller brush. Why not? All right. Immersive reactions. Thanks so much for the super chat. Has your fandom changed now that you do it full time? I'm a fantasy writer looking to start another channel for Lord of the Rings lore to support my writing addiction. Does the channel work take away the magic? For me, it does not. I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but I like it just as much doing it full time versus part time, and like it doesn't affect my enjoyment of the world or anything like that. Yeah, if anything, I get to live in it even more, which is awesome. I love it. And honestly, like, I have you guys to thank for that. Like, all the people who watch this channel and support it. Like, that's all you guys that I'm able to do this. So thank you to you guys. Sorry, I'm totally covering up the lens as I'm doing this. Oh, my bad. Is this a new run? Did they re-release these? I think these are fairly recent, like, oh gosh, what are they called? I don't have the box here. Is it a battle pack? Battle host box? Is that what it is? These are fairly recent ones, I think. There's like an Isengard, a Mordor, a Gondor, and a Rohan. Oh my word. Okay. We're not too critical, right? That's what we landed on. It's more about practicing and having fun. This is where I'm just like I'm mortified at how I'm doing on these horses. Ugh. We stick with it though. We'll get better. We'll get better. Man. All right. Let's get a different color going, eh? It's all right. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Oh, Wizard Furby, when was the last time that someone recognized you in real life as Nerd of the Rings? Let's see here. It's happened a few times. It's really funny when it happens, like when I'm on vacation with my family. Over the last few years, as we've gone to, over the last few years, we've been to, we've taken our kids to Universal once and Disney once. And one time at each of those locations, I got recognized in public and got asked to like take a picture with me. So which is still, it's weird to me that like someone would want to take their picture with me. But it almost always happens where I walk past somebody and I'm talking to like my son or somebody, and they recognize my voice from the videos, from the voiceover. But yeah, I think that was probably the last time that happened. Yeah, so probably at like, I think it was in the Star Wars area of Disney, actually. Okay, immersive reaction set. I'm doing okay. We're doing okay. Yeah, I'm planning on delving into Middle Earth strategy battle game more because I think it's a lot of fun. I think I'll get my kids into it. I love getting my kids into nerdy stuff. All right, let's see here. Now we're using wildwood. Let's see here. Okay. Oh gosh. Do this on the belt. Oh my word. Am I even in the frame? Nope, sure not. Hey, Nerd Cookies is here. Looks like quite a relaxing hobby. Yeah, that's what I've found in my very limited time trying it. But this is totally going to be my like unwinding jam at the end of the day, I think. Yeah, I would agree. Like painting with a camera is tricky. Like you should see me when I was there painting my little Gondorian, I was sitting here like this. And you can't really do that when you're streaming. Okay. Let's see here. I think he's got another strap there. Let's do another strap. Let's get this strap here. Ah, sorry. All right. Dang it. I'm sorry, guys. I keep pulling it closer to my face and pulling it out of the camera range. I'm going to have to line this up better next time. Yeah, I was thinking about doing, someone asked about the HarperCollins 2021 Deluxe Edition. 2021. What can men do with brush strokes like that? I know, man, it's rough. I'm not good at this yet. Whoa. I think part of it is my microphone is right here. And it's kind of blocking my view a little bit. If I'm making excuses, which I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to own it, guys. Yeah, I'll brush up. Get it? Brush up. They'll get better. It's all good. Have I ever played the old real-time Lord of the Rings games, Battle for Middle-earth, Rise of the Witch King? I have not. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be entering into into any tournaments in case you're wondering. Gosh, I've played one game. I demoed one game. They taught me how to play while I was there at Warhammer. getting the inside of the shield there. Yeah. War of the Ring. Yeah. That's a good one, too. As far as board games go. So I'm curious, folks in the chat, let me know what you think about the choice of Hunt for Gollum for the first of the new New Line Cinema Warner Brothers movies. We had a stream the other day. We chatted about it. Do I like Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor more? I'm going to say Mordor because it's slightly less bonkers with the lore. Slightly. Like the stuff with Celebrimbor and Anatar and Sauron and stuff, it's pretty legit in those games. Like the way Celebrimbor has the standoff, the last stand. Against Sauron when he comes to Eregion is pretty legit. All right. There's a belt. Should probably do the handle of his axe, maybe. Let's do that. Not gonna lie, I really like this axe guy. Going into battle with an axe and shield. Here's a question for you guys. So, Hunt for Gollum. Should Vigo play Aragorn? The dude seems like he's in good shape. I'd probably like the Dunlending models a lot. Is that because they're super easy to paint? Because I could see that being appealing. I do have a tree beard. I bought a tree beard so I could paint a happy little tree. Or a happy big tree, rather. So again, the channel, if you guys are interested in some tutorials on how to paint these, I'd recommend the channel War Hipster. They do some, guides to what colors and everything. They go through and paint the entire battle host and everything. Don't let my lack of skill color your your impression of their ability to instruct you. That wouldn't be fair to them. Wait. Whoop! I dropped my little handy helper thing. This probably has a better name than that. All right, now we're gonna go to our spear guy. All right, I'm gonna start another poll. Let's get a poll going here. I'm curious to hear thoughts. Rate the Rings of Power season 2 teaser. Boom. See what you guys rate it. Dang it. Sorry, guys. I keep getting this out of the camera shot. I'm hoping that my not so great painting job will inspire you guys to take the leap and not be daunted by it, because you don't have to stream your first time painting like I do. Maybe that's not the best decision. Public embarrassment, that never hurt anybody too bad, right? All right, here we go. I saw somebody say that The Witcher was planned for 7 seasons when they had Cavill. That's crazy. Now they're only doing 5. I'm on the second book of The Witcher. I like the short stories so far. It was interesting because I discovered that the episodes of the show that I enjoyed the most are like the ones where they just do one of the short stories. So I'm very curious to see what my view of the show will be after having read the books. Witch King, yeah. I mean, who knows? There'll be more movies, I'm sure. It's not like Hunt for Gollum's the only thing they're going to make, so maybe we'll get a Witch King thing. I think that'd be a cool one. Have the Witch King be the main villain of a story. Okay. Still need to water it down more, huh? Okay. That's why I have you guys here. This is helpful. Have I played this yet? Yeah, I played one game while I was at Warhammer World. It was the Osgiliath. The Battle of Osgiliath pack. They have like a demo set up there. I was very spoiled because the guy who writes the rules was actually the one who taught me how to play, which was pretty cool. And again, if I ever have some gaming streams where I'm playing this on the channel, don't hold his, my ability to play the game against his ability to teach it, because, I'm probably pretty dicey at that too. Stormlight Archive miniature set. Speaking of Stormlight Archive, so I was thinking about, forgive me, but I've never read a Brandon Sanderson book. I've heard good things. Like, I've listened to his podcast a little bit, and like, he seems like a guy that I would like. He seems like a cool guy from what I've seen, and I would like to try out something. So for those of you out there, what would you recommend that I start with? I've heard a lot of people say Mistborn. Yeah, I've definitely had my paint too thick for a lot of this. I realize that now. But that's how we learn, guys. It's how we learn. Mistborn's a great place to start. Stormlight. All right. Well, there we go. That shield's not looking too great, but hey, the rest, it's coming along. We're getting some progress. All right. Next up, we've got Cygor Brown. It's the next color we're going to do here. There we go. Cygor Brown. Higgy's got the whole reading order for me. Okay. Good to know. But should I go in order? Or is it one of those series like you start with the easiest one? Oh, Sanderson himself recommends Mistborn first. Okay, well, that's pretty good. As far as recommendations go, the author of the books is a pretty good place to get a recommendation, I suppose. He does write books like a Formula One driver. So I haven't read any of his books, but I did see the thing where he wrote like 4 books during COVID. It's crazy. Let's see here. All right, so for this Cygor Brown, we're gonna do some leather chest pieces. Oh gosh. All right, I'm gonna try to keep this in the camera view. Okay. All right. Am I copying from a photo? No, I've got like I shouted him out earlier. War Hipster is this channel that does a way better job than I do. Yeah. So I was going off of like his guide of, you know, what to use on what pieces. So yeah, check out that channel, War Hipster. It's a YouTube channel. Yeah, check him out. I'm trying to follow along. I've got it's my own notes from watching his video, so I might be screwing some of this up. All right. We're also going to paint the helmets. Yeah, buddy. There we go. Cloaks add water to 50-50, then add highlights later. Okay. Thanks for the tip. Yes, these are Games Workshop sets. They're Middle Earth Strategy Battle Game sets. Charlie Cox for Aragorn says breed. It's an interesting choice. I do like Charlie Cox from Daredevil. Daredevil's a pretty great show. A show that's coming back. I'm very curious to see how that goes. Try airbrushing. It's really satisfying to do the airbrushing. Okay, all right. All right. Yeah, immersive reactions. I'll definitely like keep these, you know, and compare like a year or two down the road and see how far, like I said, it's a really fun, relaxing hobby in the very, very brief time. Even here being on stream, which is a little more nerve-wracking, I'm gonna say. Painting in front of a couple hundred people or or more, it's a little more nerve-wracking, but yeah, it's all good. I'll have to compare this as it comes along. I think I'll get better, because it's hard to imagine me getting a whole lot worse. I'm also curious to see how well I can do without the microphone and camera, if I can not have to keep my head quite as far away from it, or do a better setup here. Is anyone a merry fellow on your Patreon? No, I don't think so. I kind of put that up there. I don't know if someone did it for like a month or something back in the day, because I had some people request like higher tiers, and I was like, I doubt that anyone's gonna do those, but you put them on there because you never know. All right, what else could we do on this? Oh, we could do the leg guard things here. There we go. Higgy is a merry fellow in my heart, he claims. I think very highly of Higgy in Higgy's mind. I kid. Higgy might be at Comic-Con, sounds like. So you might get to meet Higgy in person if you show up at Comic-Con. Skin changers. I saw someone ask about skin changer. I'd have to double check on my Patreon. I don't think anybody is. I think the highest is like is it Elf Unleashed tier? I think that's the highest anybody's at. Debating on trying to go to Comic-Con, but it looks kind of overwhelming. I mean, it is. There's a flip ton of people there. It's kind of insane. But yeah, it's fun though. I think it's fun. I always have a blast at Comic-Con. All right, let's see here. What do we have on this dude? Ah, helmets, yes. Review on season 2 was spot on perfection. Plus, you're a hell of a storyteller. 10 out of 10. Thanks so much. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a review. I don't really review trailers and stuff. More analysis, I would say. But thanks. Okay. Trying to decide how much to paint here. The Elsa gag, yeah, that was fun. Can you tell that I have a 4-year-old daughter? That's where my mind went. Oh, Marco, would love to see you watch the fan films. Yeah, so I, with all the Hunt for Gollum stuff, I was thinking of that fan film. I watched it back in the day. Like, it had to have been when it first came out. And I don't think I've seen it since. I'd be very curious to watch it again. Because I remember bits and pieces, I think, but not much. All right. Did I get a larger set of Rohan warriors? I got the battle host, which comes with Eomer. I haven't put Eomer or any of the the guys on horses together yet. I got in the groove of getting like the foot soldiers essentially already for painting, but I haven't jumped into assembling horses quite yet. So yeah, it'll take a little bit. And then I looked at the Eomer piece and I was just like, oh gosh, there's still a bit of me that's kind of daunted by that. But we'll see. I'll get there eventually. Again, special thanks to Jordan from Long Expected Soundscape for hooking us up with some ambient music. If you're not familiar, Jordan's stuff, it syncs up with the Andy Serkis audiobook. So like if you listen to it at the same time, it has all this like ambient noise, and like you can select whether you want to do sound effects and stuff. But this is kind of his some of his Rohan music. He sent me a track just of ambient Rohan sounds for us to chill out and listen to while we're painting. Pretty great. Oh, I gotta get in there on that other bracer. Oh man. You got this. Got this. All right. Eric Miller, Andy Serkis audiobook of The Silmarillion is amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I put a post on Instagram and Twitter. Like, how often can you say the director of, a film is not only familiar with the source material, but has recorded audiobooks of the source material? Like, the dude's recorded a lot of Tolkien here recently. He's got proof that he's read the books. Danny Hess, do you think Amazon released the Rings of Power teaser because of the Hunt for Gollum news, or was this their plan all along? It was timed with the upfronts for Amazon, which, for those of you who aren't familiar, the upfronts, like every studio or network, I don't know. I think it goes back to like the days of broadcast TV. It's like for advertisers, essentially, to say like, hey, we've got this cool stuff coming up. You should advertise with us, that kind of thing. And so Amazon had their upfronts on Tuesday. So like it would make sense. It would make total sense for them to advertise Rings of Power because that's coming up in August, September. So I don't think it was a response thing. Like I would imagine that was their plan all along. Because why wouldn't they, have that as part of their upfronts when that's one of their big shows? That and The Boys, I think, is coming out soon, maybe. So yeah, I think I would almost guarantee that was a planned thing with their upfronts. Now I don't know about House of the Dragon releasing their teaser like 2 hours after Amazon released theirs, or their trailer, I should say. I don't know if there was any kind of Warner Brothers HBO event or anything that day. But them coming out on the same day was kind of crazy. Justin Girth, thanks so much for joining as a supporter. Here on YouTube. Much appreciated. Oh gosh. Okay. Whew. Here we go. There we go. And get some more paint out here. Yeah, companies competing for the attention of nerds. It's better than companies ignoring nerds. As Michael Scott would say, how the turntables. What parts of Middle Earth do you think are underappreciated? Ooh. Man. The first thing that came to my mind, I don't think this is where you were going with that question. You're probably referring to like a bit of lore or something to that nature, but the first thing that came to my mind is Christopher Tolkien, I think, just in general, is underappreciated. I think people don't realize how much we wouldn't have without his work. Like, there's so much deeper lore that, people learn from reading articles or watching YouTube videos. And, I try to bring it up, whenever I'm referencing something that Christopher wrote in one of his books. or brought to the forefront, you know, that we wouldn't otherwise have. But yeah, I think it'd probably be pretty easy for casual fans to not realize the impact and, you know, how much Christopher Tolkien brought to fandom that we would not have otherwise. Funny you should ask, Justin, when we'll see the Hobbiton video. That will be tomorrow. Tomorrow's video will be my visit to Hobbiton. It is a tour of Hobbiton in New Zealand. And it is, I'll give you guys the heads up, it is 40 minutes long. It is a nice, in-depth, one-on-one tour. So, if you've ever been curious what Hobbiton in New Zealand is like, it's going to be the video for you. It is a blast. If you ever get the chance to go, by all means, go to New Zealand, go to Hobbiton. It's amazing. And of course, I went with red carpet tours, which was awesome. Saw a ton of locations. How long in advance did you book plane tickets? Not terribly, honestly. I mean, it was months, for sure. Multiple months, but no, the big thing with, like, you know, like red carpet tours specifically, they tend to book up, so you kind of have to get on it. Oh gosh, I don't know, Higgy, when the best time to avoid tourists is. That's probably worth a Google, I think. I don't know off the top of my head. Now, you do have to keep in mind, if you're in the northern hemisphere, that they are the opposite. So, like, I went in January and it was freezing here, and then I went down there as the middle of summer, which was really weird getting off the plane with long sleeves and long pants on and get off the plane and it's, you know, like 80 degrees Fahrenheit. JD Machado, which character who has not yet appeared on screen would you love to see? He's guessing Bombadil, Imrahil, Baragond, or Beargill. You know what? I'm gonna totally disappoint you and pick none of those guys. Instead, I am going to say Glorfindel. Glorfindel. All right, next up, we're going to do some Black Legion. Gonna do some boots. Yeah, I say Glorfindel because he fights a Balrog, man. I want to see that in live action from the Silmarillion. Glorfindel model, I've seen it. I do not have it. That's one that I kind of want to buy. So maybe I'll end up buying that one. I did buy, like I said, I bought Treebeard and I bought Elrond. Another of my faves. I'm not gonna lie, when I was over there, I saw that Smaug So for those who are not familiar with the game, you get like a certain number of points. Like each of these guys is worth a number of points, and you assemble an army. So like a 500-point army, say, and you get 500 points to make up your army, right? Well, Smaug is his own army. He is an army of one. And I've been so intrigued / obsessed with that idea since I saw it, but the figure is crazy expensive. So I don't know. Maybe if I save up my super chats for like a year, I can I can buy the Smaug. And then paint it live. Rumpelstiltskin, member for 9 months. Nice. Glorfindel is the goat. Agreed. He's pretty amazing. He's like the elf that Legolas dreams he could be, you know? Like, how epic do you have to be to not get to go on the Fellowship because you're too OP? Yeah, dude, Smaug is no joke. He's an entire army. He's an army of one. I know you're not a hardcore gamer, but would you ever cover fan-made game mods set in Tolkien universe? Dawnless Days Total War mod, for example. So I've done a couple things with in the gaming sphere. I love a good video game. I don't have like a huge amount of time to play them. Like Return to Moria has been the one that I've played the most lately, you know, with all the streams and everything. But yeah, we did a stream with the guys who were doing the gosh, what's it called now? They changed the name. It's like the Lord of the Rings Conquest, that old game. And they're doing like a mod of that, like kind of like a remake, which is really cool. And then we also did the Artacraft, the Minecraft Middle Earth thing. The Middle Earth in Minecraft, where they're doing it like according to the books. I met a couple of those guys over at Oxenmoot. Oh gosh, here we go. Higgy. Super chats for Smaug Battle Cry. And Higgy, first contribution to the Nerd of the Rings Smaug purchase. So we've got $4 towards Smaug already. Man. All right. I'll keep track, guys. I'm serious. If I get enough super chats, I would totally snatch that thing up. That's a lot. That's a lot of super chats. That's a lot of cash. A $700 dragon? I'd have to like bring it to Comic-Con or something, let people play. Bring their armies and play against Smaug. Set up like a you know, build a terrain. Like, how cool would it be to build a terrain that's like Smaug in Erebor and there's gold all over the place? That'd be kind of cool. All right. See how far we get on this. He is pretty big. Oh, Zorp collab for incoming for Airborne build. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, I've chatted with him a little bit before I went to New Zealand. I was asking about like filming tips at Weta because he's been to Weta and done some video work there. So I was asking him about, you know, just logistics and lighting and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I watch his stuff from time to time too because the builds he does are insane. Yeah, Zorp. If you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, like check out Zorp, man. He does some really cool stuff with Warhammer and Middle Earth. He's got some insane builds he's working on. Hey, whoa, we're getting the ball is rolling here, guys. Wizard Furby, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go Smaug purchase. Also, what was your job before becoming Nerd of the Rings? Good question. I was a videographer. So I was a videographer in higher ed. So for anyone who's familiar with that industry and combined with higher ed, it's let's just say it's not the most glorious job. I got to do some fun things. I directed a couple music videos for the music department, which was fun. A lot of, you know, general video production stuff. Editing was the thing I always liked the most. So it kind of fit with me ending up doing Nerd of the Rings because it's very editing heavy. But yeah, when I went to school, I kind of switched majors from, you know, the video production stuff. At one point, I thought about becoming a teacher. And so it's kind of like this Nerd of the Rings is kind of like this cool mashup where I do my video stuff, but then I'm also kind of like, you know, teaching a little bit about Middle Earth. So Dark Car, thank you so much for the super chat. Smaug. Actually, like I was kind of leaning toward either math or history for teaching. Yeah, those were kind of the two subjects that I was the best at and liked the most. Yeah. Thanks for the Smaug chats, guys. We're making some progress there. We will get Smaug. My claws are spears. 96% left to go. Immersive reactions keep track for us. Oh man. I saw another good question there. What was the other one? Oh, what are some of your favorite fantasy franchises outside of Middle Earth? I'm pretty big into Star Wars. That was like the first big franchise that I got into. Let's see here. What else? Oh, I do enjoy Harry Potter. I've read that with my kiddos. That's a lot of fun. You know, obviously watch the movies as they were coming out too and stuff. But yeah, no, that's mostly been fun because my kids have really liked the books. They listen to the audiobooks. We've been to like the theme park and stuff. So that one's a lot of fun to share with them. Like I said, I've been reading. I've read like a book and a half of The Witcher so far. I've been enjoying that. A little different compared to the Middle Earth stuff. What else? Now I'm tempted to look around at my shelf. No, that's pretty much all Tolkien stuff. The other stuff is out in the hallway. on the hallway bookshelf. I've been listening to the audiobook of Shogun recently. That was a dang good show. So yeah, I've been listening to the book of that because I was kind of got hooked on that show. Been watching. I'm partway through watching like the old version of it with John Rhys Davies, which is fun. Yeah. What about you guys? What are some of your non-Middle Earth favorite fantasy worlds or franchises? Dune, I've seen the movies. I actually just last night watched the second movie, or the night before, I should say. Yeah, the night before last, I watched the second Dune movie, which is pretty darn good. Because I was confused as heck after watching the first one. I had no idea they were splitting it into two. And so it ended, and I was like, what the heck? I was like, that was 2/3 of a movie. Well, it turns out that was the other third of the movie right there. So, yeah, that was definitely entertaining as heck. Oh, Neil Gaiman? I haven't read any of his stuff. Percy Jackson, my kids have read Percy Jackson. I feel like I've done a decent job turning my kids into nerds and, even more important, readers for the most part. The youngest one, not so much. Star Trek. I never got into Star Trek or Doctor Who. J.D. Machado, Paolini's stuff. Yes, I have read all the Aragon books. Those are ones that I read at the same time as my oldest son as he was reading them. So we were reading them together. I do really like those. Wheel of Time. I've not gotten into any of the books of Wheel of Time. It's another one of those. It just seems so big and daunting that I'm a little hesitant. All right. Planet of the Apes. Yeah, Christo. That's a good one. Planet of the Apes, the new ones. I've freaking loved those movies. They are so dang good. Just saw Kingdom the other day. I got my kids into Planet of the Apes. And my wife is super freaked out by like the talking apes thing. Like she hates them. She will. Well, I wouldn't say she hates them, but she refuses to watch them because they freak her out. But my kids, my boys, loved Planet of the Apes. They also loved Godzilla and Kong. We've gotten into those. It's just pure. Those movies are just pure entertainment. Yeah. It's good stuff, though. Next up, we've got Skeleton Horde. It's our next color we're going to be doing. Narnia. That's a good one. Yeah, I do really like the Narnia. Yeah, Narnia is a good one. All right, let's end this first poll. Okay. That's a pretty wide spread there. Or pretty distributed spread. Any suggestion for further Middle-earth painting? Like what you should paint? Man. I'm always a fan of seeing people paint, do artwork of stuff that doesn't get drawn a lot. All right, so now we're doing the front of the shield, or the shield design. See if we can... These are the first ones, so they're going to look rougher. It's okay. We'll live with it. We'll be fine. This will live on the internet forever, so that in 5 years, when I'm way better at this, hopefully it doesn't take that long, but however long it is, when I'm way better at this, I can go back, pull up this stream, and cringe at how terrible these look. Favorite age of Middle Earth if I have one? I mean, a lot happens in the Third Age. I don't know if I have one. I think they're all just... They all have things that are special about them. I like the Second Age, like how much it wrestles with mortality and immortality, and, you know, the way the elves want the world to endure, and that, you know, everybody falls prey to Sauron because they want something that they can't have, or that they aren't meant to have. First Age obviously has some really epic and tragic stuff. But then First Age is like this culmination, you know? Immersive reactions. Does Games Workshop do sponsorships? But could be a good angle to acquire more wealth for Smaug. His horde is growing. We need more to lure him in. I don't know. You know what? I should ask if they do sponsorships. What I should do is say, like, hey, I'll let you sponsor a video. Just send me a Smaug. Yeah, there's going to be a new Narnia series. I'm very curious to see. Oh, someone said I'm the best Tolkien YouTube channel without a British accent. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I know, you know, for non-Americans, the American accent might not be the most pleasant to listen to. So I appreciate that. All right. Most interesting segments of History Middle Earth. Ooh, man. See, there's going to be recency bias anytime I think of stuff like this, because there's so much in those History Middle Earth books. So it's going to be like, okay, what did I just read about, or what's fresh on my mind? Because my mind goes to like the Numenor stuff, how Tolkien developed that. Like it was originally going to be a time travel story, which is wild. You know, reading that from when it was a time travel tale and just seeing how that developed over time is really interesting to me, I think. Like you can tell that Numenor story was something he was thinking about for a really long time. So to see those early versions of that is interesting to me. I'm sure other people would have other answers that would be just as good. Like there's so much stuff. Yeah, we're coming along there. All right, we'll stream for a little bit longer here, guys. I'll finish up this skeleton horde color. You guys have to let me know in the chat, or if you're watching this after the fact, in like the comments and stuff. If you like this, if this is something you'd want to see happen every once in a while, maybe. Might do some of these as like Discord exclusives. Down the road. Immersive reaction. He wants it. He wants the Smaug to happen. One sponsor equals Smaug, chiefest and greatest of calamities. Oh, that's an interesting question. Danny, I know some actors from Lord of the Rings, like Billy and Dom, have watched Rings of Power, but some of the writers, like Boyens, haven't. If you were in their shoes, would you watch Rings of Power? I guess it depends, like, how much of a Middle-earth fan are you? That's one consideration. How much of a Middle-earth fan are you? Like, would you be likely to watch it anyway? So that's one consideration. You know, if I was writing, I could see the merit in like just avoiding it so as not to like change like what you were going to do. You know, you don't want like what someone else did in their adaptation to affect what you're doing. Like you want to do what's best for your story that you're telling. So yeah, I could see that. Like not, it's like when, you know, when someone makes, I don't know, like I don't know if there's examples of this happening, but like a remake or like, you know, rebooting a franchise or something. Like if you're rebooting something, like maybe you don't watch the original because it'll or maybe you don't watch it up to a certain point, you know, like you want to craft your story first and then see it later. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Smaug weighs 2.4 kilograms and from top to bottom measures 8.4 inches, 21.4 centimeters. So it's pretty big. 9 inches. I don't even know what these are. What are these, like 1 inch? So 9 of these stacked on top of each other would be the height of Smaug. And plus he like spreads out quite a bit too. All right. More of that golden hair of the Rohirrim. So I don't know if any of you guys thought this far ahead, but the fact that like we have War of the Rohirrim coming out in December, and we're gonna get that Rohan music. I can't help but wonder if like the first time we get that iconic Rohan music, if I'm gonna think of Bernard Hill as Theoden and start like tearing up. I could totally see that. That's a very real possibility. Did Warner Brothers Interactive lose the rights to make Lord of the Rings games? I am not familiar with that. I mean, I'm sure they would, if they did anything like, like the old ones based on their films, like they would have, because Warner Brothers would have the rights to those. I mean, obviously, Warner Brothers is a licensee of Middle Earth Enterprises, so they've got a relationship there. I don't know if they're, in talks or anything to make games. Like, I would imagine it's just their rights have expired. I don't think it's like they lost them per se. Maybe that's same difference. I don't know. Immersive reactions. Thanks, man, for the super chat again. $2 more for Smaug there. Thanks for all that you do. It has inspired me a lot. Thanks. I appreciate that. All right. Let's do one more color here. We're going to do some Iron Warriors. Do some chainmail. See, I don't know if Shadow of War stopped at 2. Like, they kind of concluded the story there with the second one. Like, I don't know where they'd go. I always was surprised that they didn't make a third one. But I've also never researched it to know, like, did the second one make money or did it just get, like, acclaim, Like, if the sales weren't there, I could kind of understand why they wouldn't do another one. My buddy's calling me while I'm streaming. Get out of here, guy. Come on now. Paint some chainmail, dude. Gosh. All right. Do some chainmail. We'll do some arrow tips. All right, here we go. Here's the chainmail. Do you know what art style they're using for Rohirrim? I don't know, because we haven't seen anything. It's just been the, 3 promotional images so far? Yeah, I'm very curious what it'll look like. It'll be interesting to have an anime Lord of the Rings, though. I've never been big into anime, so I'm really curious how I'll like it. EAP, are the models you're painting today the first minis you've painted? Yes, pretty much. I painted one while I was at Warhammer World. It's this little Gondorian guy I showed earlier. And all I got, all the further I got was black and silver on it. I didn't have a whole lot of time, so I only have 2 colors on him. Yeah, so I'm going to assume that you're asking because it's abundantly clear that this is the first time I've painted. Yeah. Oh, now he says they look really good, way better than his first ones. Okay, then EAP's first ones. Well, thank you. Giving me the confidence boost. Appreciate that. chainmail's looking pretty good, I have to say. Like, out of all of it, I think the chainmail's looking the best so far. There's a great Witcher anime, The White Wolf. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, that's a show that, like, I know obviously we've kind of gone all over with our conversation though, so it is what it is. It happens. It's fun. Yeah, I am very curious how the show is going to be without Cavill as the Witcher. Like, that's an interesting recast that I'm not sure about. Like, that was one of, like, I don't know much about the lore, but like just on the show as a whole, I thought Cavill as the Witcher was like one of the main reasons to watch it for me. Like, that's why I kept watching it, was mostly, you know, for his performance, because he was so good. So without that, I'm very curious to see how it does. All right. All right, guys. Well, unfortunately, I do have to wrap up the stream for today. It's been fun hanging out and chilling with you guys. We got a few little figures painted here, a little rough at parts, but you know, it's coming along. You do, you know, you go for it and you get better as you go. So yeah, check them out. It's Middle Earth Strategy Battle Game is the figures I was painting here today. These are the Rohirrim. They got all kinds of them. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll do some future stuff with the folks at Games Workshop and Warhammer and all that stuff, because their Middle Earth game is pretty cool, and this is a pretty relaxing activity, I have to say. It's really appealed to me to just chill out and paint some figures. So well, yeah, check out too over on Instagram. I just shared a cool fan poster for Hunt for Gollum. That's really cool. Jason did that. Jason was here in the chat earlier, I think. And tomorrow we'll have my video from Hobbiton. So you'll get a 40-minute tour of Hobbiton in tomorrow's video that will drop at noon Eastern time, as always. And next week we'll have an interview with the director of the new Christopher Lee documentary. So be sure to tune into that next Tuesday as well. In the meantime, thanks so much for hanging out, guys, and we'll see you next time on Nerd of the Rings.